All right, my friends. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Of course, you know me. This is Quita, aka Malaysian Quita, and welcome to Sin TV, standing for Smart Intelligent News. And of course, our mission here at Sin TV is to bring geekery to society. So, guys, today I have an unboxing to do for you of a new Zelotes optical mouse. This one is actually going to replace the previous one that I ordered about maybe 6 months ago. So that's pretty much how that one looks like here. And I'm going to show you the new one. Now, with my previous one, this one had 55 DPI, and it's not too bad. I got this for $10. So it lasted me about maybe 6 months because, like, for some reason, the clickers are starting to go on this one. And here, guys, look, check it out. My look of the day here, looking spiffy here, all neutral realness here, and also find out later what are some of the telltale signs that your boss does not like you, because that's one thing that's so irritating, right? When you're at work is you're doing everything that you can, you're busting your butt to make sure that your boss at least gives you some props sometimes. Okay, so let's waste no time here. Let's take a look at the mouse first. So here it is. It says Zelotes. Really cool company coming out of China, and I love their accessories. I haven't tried their keyboard or any of their other peripherals, but their mouse is great. If you're looking for that RGB kind of multicolored setup and you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper, because I know for many of you, especially with me, I just started gaming again. And also I have my stream, which of course I'll have the link below, twitch.tv/SINTV now. And we're almost to 70 followers, guys. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't like spending so much money on my peripherals unless I really have to. But if you're looking for a mouse, I've seen a lot of streamers, use this as well. And I mean, it has, it changes color here too when it's powered on. And yeah, I am really excited. So let's open this up. Let me get my first impression of how I feel about it. It actually came today, guys, on Christmas Eve. And I hope you guys are having a great holiday, definitely, or may I say holiday weekend, because I know for me, oh my gosh, I'll be working on Saturday. Oh, gag, not looking forward to that. But let's open it up here. And there are different types. Like, okay, here's the lighting effect so you guys can see on the previous one here. And then you can change the DPI. You'll see there's a little button here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it says DPI. And then all you do is, if you want to switch the DPI, I'll show you here. So that's green. It goes up. That's the 55. So we'll start from the beginning. Yellow is 55 from what I read. So that one is your slowest setting. This is where I usually keep it on green. If you're playing like MOBAs and stuff like that, you may want to increase your DPI. But if you're playing more slow range type games, then you can click it to like about red setting, or the green setting is what I usually keep it on, so that my mouse is not like all over the place. So comes in this really nice packaging. And on top of that, I really like the fact that this is corded, because nothing is more annoying to me than having one of those thinly corded mouses. And yeah, it can give you some latency problems too from, I was talking to my friend about that too when you're using like a wireless mouse. But let me know in the comments below if you've had problems with wireless gaming mouses, because I know for me, I have not. And then if you look at my previous one here, pardon me, I'm putting like the optical in your eye here, but there are these little kind of gliders here. And when you first get this mouse, it actually does not have that. Let me actually get my focus here. Okay, here we go. So as you can see here, this one, same design, but there's a little, well, it is the same, pardon me. It has the spider. The one that there's a couple different designs. There's one that actually has like the swirly in the middle here. And let me peel off, because these do peel off. So you want to make sure that you, so they peel off like this. And let me get this into focus here so you guys can really see the, you guys can really see the detail here of this, of the mouse here, so you can see the actual. Okay, do you see that, guys? So it says here DPI. So when you click that, that's going to change. Here we go, get a little more detail. That's going to change your DPI settings. You have an additional plastic here. Let me take this off. And this also comes off. And this will start to kind of mute after some use here. But then it says for the game on there, which is pretty cool. And let me get the other plastic off as well, because that's pretty sweet, though. This is a really great mouse, guys. I'm telling you, I've been using this one for quite some time. But I will say the longevity, it really depends how much you use it. Like for me, I'm streaming like daily almost. So my mouse went pretty quickly. I know some people have had mouses for years. I know some people like the Razer Naga, especially for MMO gaming. And there is a new one that just came out recently, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to take the cord out here. Oh my gosh, I love when I get a new mouse, guys. It's awesome. Okay, so if you see here on the cord, there is a little bit of detail there. It says Zelotes, and then there's some more like Chinese character writing in the USB symbol, so you can see that a little bit better. And this cord is long. Like, let me see if I can even show you. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a very long cord. It doesn't knot up for me like how some of the cords that I've had in the past. But yeah, so far, this is really awesome. It lights up the same way. But here's the difference, though. This is the upgrade from this one. This one has up to 55 DPI. This bad boy has 72 DPI. So that is not bad at all. And there's no instructions in the box. It's a plug and play. And on the box here too, it says precise and ergonomic for design for office and gaming. So you can use this in your office or you can use it for gaming. It just depends what preference you're going to have in regards to that. So it's very multi-purpose. It is compatible with Vista XP. Is also compatible, and it's for both 86 and 64-bit, which is great. And then you also have Windows 7 2000, and it's also compatible on Mac too. So for example, if you play League of Legends on Mac, this will work perfectly for you as well. So pardon me here, I'm going to actually get up, guys, and I'm going to plug this bad boy in and see if there is actually a difference. Now, when you originally get this, guys, it has a very frosty type finish, but as you use it, that finish starts to kind of come down, wear down a little bit. So I'm going to actually plug this one in so you can check it out and see it. Here I am again. All right. So let's see if it will light up for us here. And I've really been loving my TT Esports. Like most of my peripherals, guys, are from like China because it's cheap and they're good to go. But here I want you guys to see the difference again. So here's the new one. And then here's the previous one. I'll put them side by side so you can see the finish kind of comes down a little bit with use, but that's normal. So I'm going to put this in my empties here. And let's see if this one will light up for us here. I think it should. It may not, but it may not, because sometimes here's the thing that's kind of interesting about this mouse is when you, of course, when you have the computer on, it will light up fully. But I mean, it's really comfortable. And especially I recommend this mouse if you have like, I have these enormous hands for a Amazonian warrior like myself. As a lady like myself. So let me show it to you again here. You have the DPI button. You have this roller button. The scroll is excellent. And then you can also use this to kind of click back. And the clicking is pretty good, but most of it is plastic, so you don't want to press so aggressively. You still need to be careful here. And then, of course, it says here the DPI, it says here, yeah, move the protective plastic, which I did before use. So I will be streaming today, so I will see how the colors are. But this is, let me show you how it looks like in my hand, guys. It's kind of, I know it's kind of hard to see because I have like man hands, but and it's for right-handed use, not for left-handed. I'm sure if you did a search, I'm gonna see if they do have a left-handed one, and if they do, I'll let you know. So yeah, you have your click here, and do you see it just rests on my hands so beautifully? Here's the thumb rest right here, and it just fits, and I can scroll, and oh, it's so beautiful, guys. And I'm using the Corsair 200 model for their actual, pardon me here, it's a little dirty, game pads here. So I'll show you this here. It's a medium sized one. And then on top of that, I have a standard gel pad. And that's what I use for my armrest. It's just a nice DIY way of doing it here. So I'll show you how it looks like together. So I have it like this. So here's like my armrest, right? And then I just set it over here. And it's, man, Corsairs, I love their mouse pads. They're just so easy to travel with, and you know, they come undone really easily too, and you get that perfect flat finish. And with this Zelotes mouse, guys, it glides just so beautifully over this. Let me show you. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I mean, do you see how it glides without, you know, too much tension? Or, and that's great for my gaming. I've gotten better precision through doing that for sure. So yeah, I really like it. It fits my hand perfectly. This is the only mouse that I will ever get. So I will have the link below so you can check it out and purchase it. But this is how it looks like in the box. Once again here, let me put this into, I can't wait to get a better camera, guys. I know this is so old school here. So let me put this back into focus here. So that's how it looks like there. Check it out, guys, both for office and gaming. All right, so our next thing to do here, our story is coming from Forbes.com. And these are 5 common signs that your boss doesn't appreciate you. So what happened was Liz Ryan, she is the CEO and founder of The Human Workplace. And this is kind of like a advice column that she did. And someone wrote her a letter in regard, and this is me paraphrasing. I will have the link below this video so you can read it for yourself. And she was kind of having trouble with her boss, you know, like her boss is just not, you know, giving her props and giving her the recognition, things like that, that she, you know, that she feels. She feels like her boss doesn't like her even. So here are the 5 common signs. Number 1, you can't get access to your boss. That is a big clue that your boss doesn't see you as a valued collaborator. Now, this can be open for debate just because sometimes bosses, especially if you're, you know, working in business or retail or something like that, they are just all over the place, especially like holiday season. Oh my gosh, like Black Friday, you know, what time? But if you notice that your boss, no matter what you do, how much effort you're putting in, the hard work you're putting in, period, and your boss doesn't even like acknowledge you, that's a clear sign to me that they don't care. And that's a clear sign that you need to, you know, either, to me personally, like if you can, and as a disclaimer, this is just my experience and sharing with you. I am not a professional when it comes to workplace stuff. And, you know, when it comes to that, make sure you can consult a professional before leaving your job or trying to get another job, because the job market is very hard. But overall, I would say, yeah, if you say hi to them and they're not receptive to that, or, you know, if you never see them and they were talking to everybody else but you, that might be a clear sign. The next sign is that your biggest triumphs don't make your manager's heart beat faster. You see the impact of your work, but he or she doesn't. This is another common thing. I definitely agree with that. And I can give an example of that. Like, for example, a job that I used to work in the past, I would just work. I would put in 110. I was getting good customer, you know, praises, you know, and things like that, and compliments. And honestly, my boss didn't care. But when there was another person who did the same exact work, and sometimes it was not even to the caliber that I was doing, then they would get props for that and they would be rewarded and stuff like that. And sometimes, let me tell you guys, it builds up inside of you and then you start having resentment towards your coworker. It doesn't mean that you per se hate your coworker. It might mean it's just that, sometimes I feel like everybody deserves to get those props. And unfortunately, in the real world, that doesn't happen. The real world is a dog eat dog world out there. And the best thing that you can do is, look, when you don't get any type of rewards or something like that, don't beat yourself down. Think of it as an opportunity to get better. And sometimes that blessing will come and you will get out of that crappy situation. And if you're not able to, I always try to make the best of the worst situation. It's hard. It's very, very hard to do. But let me tell you guys, it's a skill that will get you through so much BS in your life that life becomes a lot easier when you don't even care. And then sometimes when you put forth all your effort and you don't care, that's when the rewards come. I mean, that's just from my experience. Now, another sign is that other people, like your vice president, will tell you how valuable your contributions are, but your own boss cannot or will not give you the same recognition. And that kind of ties into the previous point, is that they don't see the impact of your work. And sometimes they're just bosses, let's be honest, they're a-holes. They feel because they have a clipboard or because they have the title manager that they feel entitled, and they think the rest of you guys are slaves. Let's just be real here, okay? But the best way to kind of think of it is, if your manager is really giving you a hard time, and if it's something like you really, really, really like this job, the best thing you can do is just work your way through the system. First, you want to talk to that manager directly, let them know, how you feel. And see, this is where it's dicey, because you got to feel out that boss's personality. Sometimes when you do that, they consider it snitching, or they consider it, tattletaling or whatever. And that's so stupid, that you would think grown adults would act mature, right? But from my experience, some grown adults act like they're 16. It's ridiculous. But yeah, from that, if you can, and this is if you're in a decent working environment, work the system. Talk to your manager first. Don't go to the higher up, because then that looks like you don't respect them. And respect is very vital, guys, when it comes to moving up. And yeah, some people would say sucking up as well, because from many work environments I've been in, one of the key things that I see correlating with advancement is favoritism. And whether people like it or not, there is going to be favoritism in the workforce. And there's not much that you can do about it. But you just kind of have to keep working and keep going. And then eventually, with depending, and this depends on the field too, those opportunities can come through for you. But I would say also, in regards to not being recognized for your contribution, don't make it an issue when other coworkers know about it, because we all know the workforce can be the most gossipy place on the planet. And the funny thing is, for some of us, we spend more time with our coworkers in our employment environment where we work, period, than our own families. So you kind of have to, like my father always says, you kind of have to analyze your environment, and then you adjust yourself to the environment that you're in. And that is very true. It's a hard thing to do, but once you're able to develop that skill, my blood pressure has gone down when I have stopped caring about awards. And actually, sometimes I think awards are stupid, because 9 out of 10 times when someone's getting an award, they don't really deserve it. It's sometimes it's based on like favoritism. So don't beat yourself down. Just don't even care. Like, if you don't get an award, fine. There's always a reward that's beyond the trophy. A trophy, that's just a physical thing. When people start to know, see, the best way to win and screw some of these a-holes over, right, is to be an asset, meaning that you have such advanced skills that the other people around you are stupid and people really need you. That's how you win. That's what I do. It's not you looking down at people and being like, oh, look at these peasants. No, it's not anything like that. But when you have skills that other people can't do, you become the primary, and that's how you win. That's just me personally. All right. So next the next I would say sign is your title, pay, and the rest of your deal with your employer doesn't impact of your work or on your organization. So pay is a big major thing, guys, when it comes to how your boss treats you. So like, let's say there's sometimes where your boss makes less than you do, and then since they're in power, they feel there's this animosity, and then they take it out on you. Other times it's you being quote unquote the slave, and then they are like the boss of you, because we know there are some managers that really work hard and they're doing amazing things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these lazy bosses. I'm talking about the managers who they just use the title and they do nothing to contribute. And you know what, to me, is a very vital characteristic of a leader or someone who is a manager, is somebody who is willing to step down and to take the roles to show and build trust with their employees. That is something that to me is very vital. Okay, when I see managers doing things that are what people would say trivial, but they're doing it because they know it's helping out the other employees, that's how the employees respect you. And then they think of you highly, and they think of you not only as a manager, they kind of feel that you have empathy, but you have to be artificial with it, because there's sometimes you can tell when managers are being real shady with it, because they're just trying to get under someone's good graces and they could care less about their employees. So it's really important that if you are in management or if you are in a leadership role, is step down. Okay, you have several seats sometimes, because just because you're a manager and someone gave you that title, or you're an executive, that doesn't mean you're better than everybody else. And for me, I have had the privilege of being in leadership roles throughout my process and going, through my degree. I'm going for school, of course, many of you know, for student affairs. There are times where I am, put in a kind of like a leadership role when I'm doing group work. And one thing I try to do is I don't try to, take all the work and be like, I'm a boss and I'm better than everybody else. That's kind of like having an individual group think. So what I tend to do is I let, everybody know, find out what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then kind of assign the task that way, and giving people things that might be somewhat of a challenge to them, but it's helping them to learn, because that's what good leaders do. I'm the type that I will help out no matter where I work, wherever I do, because I know it's the right thing to do. And that's how people respect you, and that's how you build merit. I'm telling you, managers, please do that. If you work in management, you're in a leadership role, it's very vital. Okay, so, and when it comes to pay too, kind of tying it back in, pardon me here. I know I'm all over the place like I usually am. But when it comes to pay, that's the first thing. You need to make sure before you take a job, you negotiate those wages and you get what you deserve. Okay, if you have a master's degree, you have a doctorate degree, do not be taking a job that is less than those 10, 15, how many years of school and how much years of experience that you have, because you're screwing yourself over. And you know what pisses me off the most sometimes is when I see people who are not even qualified for a leadership role put into the leadership role, and then they don't even want to take the responsibility to improve and get better at the skill sets that are required in their position. So don't be one of these jerk offs, don't be one of these people. Make sure that when you apply for a job, the expectation, if it's a decent place to work, is they're going to take the skill sets that you present on your resume, they'll put those to the test, and then on top of that, they want to see the actions. Anybody can write an amazing resume. Anybody can be quote unquote amazing on a resume, but you have to make sure that you have that real life application. If you are in high school, if you are in middle school, I'm sorry, you guys should be looking at internships. The job market is so fierce now that, and this is not me trying to scare people, but this is reality. I feel like when I was in high school, if I had done multiple internships and added that to my experience, I think that would have helped me advance better in the job market than where I am now. So it's so important to do that, guys. I can't tell you enough. Make sure you are getting what you're paying for and you negotiate those wages fairly, and you will be good. You will be good. And finally, the final characteristic here is You cannot get or keep your manager's attention when you try to share big news or important questions. I have dealt with this all the time. So this is what I usually do. If a manager or someone who is someone I have to report to as a leader, if they don't care about my opinion and it's something that's very vital to our success in the company, I let them fail. I know that sounds evil and it sounds really dark-minded, but this is why I do this, is because when that manager fails at what they were fails at, making sure we as, employees are doing well, that's reflected on them. It's not reflected on me, because you don't want to be someone that's constantly complaining or constantly, causing drama and stuff like that, because it's negatively reflected on you. Sometimes it's good to let other people make those mistakes instead of you correcting them, because then sometimes that changes the morale of how people view you. So it's you have to have good balance when it comes to the workforce. You cannot be a dick to people and think you're better than everybody because you're in a leadership role, or maybe you're in higher favor with executives, and at the same time, you shouldn't dumb yourself down if you know there are certain things that can help to improve. So here's the thing that you should do. Find out who are the key players in the improvement of the company or whatnot. Fill them out. If they are people that are open and willing to listen to your opinion, those are the people you go to. A lot of times managers can be jealous sometimes. Executives can be people who are afraid that you may take their position. So they will treat you as such. They will dumb you down, or sometimes, they want you to make mistakes because it's not on them, it's on you. So what you want to make sure you do is that when your manager is not listening to you and it's something that could potentially be a mistake, let them take the blame for it, because it's on them. And then, the funny thing is, I've had this happen before where I've gone to a manager and I have talked to them, about something, addressing a concern that could help our business or wherever I'm working to be better. And they're like, oh, whatever, or they think it's a stupid idea. This is what I usually do. Then I said, okay, it's fine, absolutely fine. And then there will be that moment when that manager falls on their face, like completely falls on their face. And guess what? Number one question that will be asked is, okay, what were the pre-prevented measures that were supposed to be taken to make sure that this particular situation was not supposed to happen? That's where you can step in, because then you can say, well, maybe 5 or 6 or how many months ago, I went to so and so and I addressed specifically that this was a concern that I had. And now that this has come in the forelight, I wanted to just let everyone know here that this was something that I addressed. It makes you look so good depending on the situation. But for me, I know it's made me look good, because then they're going to look at the manager or the person who's supposed to be the executive who is supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing and be like, well, this young lady or this young person or whoever addressed this. Why did you not take their concern or take their opinion or something like that? Now, there are exceptions to this, where if it's something like a very hostile situation or something that's so vital that can make or break your company or organization you're working for, by all means, this is just my opinion, step in. Because then sometimes that can put you into a leadership role, or it can put you in a better light. And then that person looks stupid, because then they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So those are just two of the ways that I usually see it. But definitely let me know, have you guys had a horrible boss? Because for me, I know I have had horrible bosses. But at the end of the day, I just ignore them and I go to work and I do what I have to do and be the best at what I do, and it reflects. And if I don't get awards, that's fine. For me, I always believe that hard work pays off and you get the blessings that you deserve. And that's what I strive for. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to get on stream, guys. I'm so excited for this. And like I always say, guys, remember to get smart and stay informed.